Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another impromptu pop up from the Just Seen podcast. As you've seen from the title, today we're going to be talking about pH, specifically the pH of the vagina, right? So this is like this episode is going to be like very, very pivotal to life as a whole, and I put my word on that shit, right? So this is not me and no shit like, oh, controlling women's bodies, the narrative of all that shit. Nah, but this episode brings relevance to the importance of a woman's body, the importance of a woman, the importance of the biochemistry, everything. pH is so important, right? Because like that's been a theme for a long time. Like y'all, I've been studying the physical body, anatomy, physiology, and all that shit. I've been studying for like a decent amount of years, right? And it's like there's always been like one lingering question. Always, like, because I've been paying attention to all of the new products that are coming out and all the other shit they're telling the women to do and keep the vagina point on point. And they keep saying pH, 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 the importance of pH. And I'm like, okay, as a man, I don't give a fuck about pH. Not in the regards of where it really pertains to me. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't have the reasoning to give a fuck about a woman's pH, the pH of the vagina, other than, of course, the vagina that I would be going into, or, you know what I mean? So I never really thought deeper beyond where I'm about to go with this shit. So it's like looking at pH, like you hear, like make sure you do your yoni things and your pH is on point, and use this wipe and this cleanser and use these things, and it's like because you want to keep your pH right. So I was having a conversation, right? I was having a conversation with Bun, and we were talking about pH and shit. Again, as always, we talking about how, you know, we dive down rabbit holes. You feel me? It is what it is. But we was talking about pH, and the curiosity in me was because of like, you feel me, the way in which she was flowing and shit, she leading the conversation. And so I'm like, instantly I'm like, so what's the pH supposed to be? She was like, I don't know the number, but it's supposed to be. I'm not, she was like, no. So she was like, I asked her, I was like, so what's the pH supposed to be? And I was like, because they always say, you got to balance your pH. And me as a scientist that I am, who's, what I'm saying, I go through the biology and the chemistry. I'm like, they tell you how to have a balanced pH, but what is the pH y'all supposed to have? Like, what's the number? You feel me? Because we know from the scientific perspective that the acid base scale goes from 0 to 14, with the most acidic being 0, most basic being 14. This basic chemistry, basic, simple shit. So I was like, what's the number? And she ain't know the number. And then I thought back and I looked back like to all of the products that I seen with feminine wash on it, all of these different things. I'm like, well, what's the pH? Why don't they put the number up here? Like, there's a reasoning why they're not putting the number up here. And then I started to think about, you know, certain things that I've studied and I've learned. And there was always a deficit into a certain point of my understanding. And that whole full circle moment clicked. And it clicked and it brought to reality why the world is what it is, why women are being attacked the way they're attacked, why all like everything starts and ends with the womb. Now, I know from the woke perspective, we be on some black woman is God type shit. As always, I say I never called a black woman God because I have my own reserves for that. However, in that, we always say, the mother, the womb, all of these different things are, the woman is the originator or whatever the case may be. I'm not here to debate none of that shit, but I'm here to break down so many different pieces from how our ancestors honored matriarchal society rather than patriarchal. Then I'm gonna break that down for real what it is. So motherfuckers ain't confused. From the biological aspect, from the science aspect, from the pink tax shit, I'm gonna show y'all how everything pertaining to a woman is relegated down to her pH, the pH of her vagina. And I know it seems like, damn, saying how the fuck, cause mom, man, y'all 201 episodes in. You feel me? I'm sure y'all know how I get down. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me. We're gonna take a quick break. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_seen_. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not this episode, but the podcast itself. And as always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. So that's that for this, and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. I ain't worked the title out yet, but we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back to impromptu pop-ups. I think we're like 25 now. Impromptu pop-ups, 20-something, feminine pH. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to call it that. Impromptu pop-ups, feminine pH. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And first things first, I Papa freaks all the nah. I'm gonna be serious. It pertains to that in a way. I Papa freaks all the honeys, dummies. All right. So the whole concept came about. Like I said, we are having a deep conversation about pH and all this other stuff, and so it was just like I'm like, so what's the actual pH number? So now I'm sitting back and I'm like, I'm gonna test my theory. So I started hitting up some of my homies and shit. I'm like, yo, what's your pH? And like, you feel me? It's like, right, what the fuck you talking about? I'm like, what's your pH? They were like, I don't know, it's balanced. I was like, okay. So you don't know the number. Nah, I didn't know it was a number. All right, cool. So I'm asking multiple women what the number is. They don't have the number. And I'm like, of all of this shit, why don't they have a number? So now, you know what I'm saying? I'm going into like, if the women don't have the number, then that means that so much shit is being kept away from them simply because they do not have the number of what a balanced pH is supposed to be. Now, I get it. When you think basic, when you think basic chemistry, basic biology and shit, you think, that neutral is a balanced pH. Technically, a 7 is a balanced pH. However, a balanced pH is relative, right? pH is balanced in relation to the components of the chemical formula to make it stable. Keep that in mind. pHs are balanced according to relativity based off of how they will make something stable. Do you feel what I'm saying? Okay. So balanced in the regards of how we think about it, they got us, so when people say, the balance, the neutral pH is 7. So people think a neutral pH means balance. No, it means a neutral pH. Words are very important and strategically placed in regards to a lot of shit. So when we look at how the pH is now, let's say the pH is neutral. That means a woman's pH is supposed to be 7. So that's just 7. Now I'm gonna go into the number that I think the pH is, right? And I'm gonna break down. I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna pull this shit. Like I studied so much. This was like, I've been waiting. It's crazy how I've been waiting for this number, this one number to come out to make so much shit make sense. But it's gonna be crazy how it plays out. So balance, according to, balance and neutrality are two different things. So let me break that down from a chemical perspective, right? So in chemistry, when we balance the equations and shit, right? What we would do is you would need things like, of course, the pH. You need things like the acid and base concentrations or all of the other shit to make it balanced. Now, like I said, balance doesn't necessarily equate to neutral. It means stable. What does it take for this chemical reaction to be stable? So here's an example. You can have, say, now this is me just pulling numbers off the top of the head. So you can have, let's say, a 23 mole concentration of hydrochloric acid, and you want to balance it with 5 mole concentration of baking soda. To keep these things from being reactive, a certain number of things have to go into reality. So fuck organic chemistry right now. I'm just using that to paint the picture to say that the balance doesn't necessarily mean that it's neutral. The pH is going to be neutral, but the pH has to be balanced, right? So when I'm asking women, what is your pH supposed to be when it's balanced? They look at me like, I don't know. And I'm like, why don't you know? It's okay for me not to know. I'm a man. I ain't got a vagina. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't need to know. But when women don't know, that becomes a bigger problem because now I'm like, this is the rabbit hole that it went down. The first thought, the trigger, I was like, if women don't know their pH, just women without a woman knowing her pH, that number, she doesn't know what it's supposed to be balanced as. Then that goes to the next point. She doesn't know how to test it. You feel me? She doesn't know how to test to see what her pH is or what it's supposed to be. Gynecologists, doctors, physicians, all of these motherfuckers, they don't tell you, or they're not telling women what the number is for a balanced pH. They're telling them to use these particular products to balance your pH or eat this particular way to balance your pH. Now, here's where the organic chemistry shit comes in. Because once a woman knows what the number is supposed to be, and just the chemistry as well, her eating has to change. The the products that she uses on her body has to change, in her body has to change. Just every dynamic. So off rip, I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. Like this is game. This is game for real. Off rip, this eliminates two major industries if women know their pH. You dig what I mean? Follow me on this. Fuck with me. Walk with me, right? If women know their pHs, the cosmetic industry completely shuts down. And the feminine care industry completely shuts down. You know why? Because now women dictate the reality of what's going to go in their body. Right now, women are completely oblivious to what's going on. You dig what I'm saying? They know they need their pH balance, right? But their full concentration is solely on their vagina, nothing else. So to balance your pH, that's why they got all these feminine. They're not paying attention to the fact that our human body is all skin, right? Ooh, this episode about to be dope. Ooh, shit. Yo, so our whole body is skin, biologically, developmentally, our whole body is skin. And I'm gonna break that shit down right now. So your skin, words. So you go to a dermatologist, do you not? For your what? Your skin. The root word that leads to skin is derm. Derm is Latin and means skin, right? Epidermis, subcutaneous dermis, all of the dermises of that. Here's what a lot of people don't pay attention to because this is deeper aspects. You got to study a lot deeper to catch this. Your body, during the fetal development, right? We're going to talk this shit from birth all the way till wherever. But look, so, and forgive me if I get all over the place. I'm excited. And this is an impromptu. Like this information is just really just piecing together right now. I literally just woke up to do this shit. You feel me? So, starting with the development of a child, of a baby, right? Our entire being is skin. So, check the developmental layers of the baby. You have the endoderm, the mesoderm, and the ectoderm. In essence, sticking to the words, endoderm is the inner skin, mesoderm is middle skin, ectoderm is outer skin. The actual thing we call skin that covers our body is what we call, you know what I'm saying? We call that skin, but that's our ectoderm. Our mesoderm includes our muscles, um, what is our muscles, our tendons, our ligaments, um, a few other things. If I'm not mistaken, let me see, it's a simplified way to look at it, but it's not, of course you got to go deeper, but typically your exoderm is likely going to be the solid structures of your body. So you got your bones, your teeth and shit, right? Your mesoderm is going to be the softer, the medium sized thing, like your muscles, your fat, and all that other shit. Your endoderm is going to be your vital organs for the most part, more or less. Things change, but it's like, for the most part, that's a rough estimate about what things are, right? So now let's tie this in to how it plays into the skin. So now when we're telling women to balance their pH, their only focus is the vagina, not their entire body, right? The only focus is the vagina. So you look at the feminine washes and all of these different things to what? Balance the pH of the vagina. But by default, you're not supposed to just, and they teach you, they got people just putting band-aids on shit. So that rather than fixing the internal issue because the entire skin now absorbs shit, We just think it's the vagina. So now back to the point about it being the entire body is skin, right? Endoderm, mesoderm, ectoderm. If the entire body is skin and the cosmetic industry focuses on skin, external areas of skin, that means it's going to do the same shit to your body. The cosmetic shit that you're putting on your body is likely throwing off your pH. Now, let me explain something. Because when you ask what's a balanced pH supposed to be, they're not giving the number. However, when you look at the facial areas and the things that we're supposed to be using for our skin as far as cleaning and all that other good shit, right? Those points are effectively used in our body. So they call it cosmetic grade shit. Anything that's cosmetic grade shouldn't be in your body. Only thing that you should be able to put in your body is food grade shit. If you can't eat it, you shouldn't put it on your body. You feel me? I say that to people all the time. Can you eat the shit that you put in? Like, so now this fucks with a whole bunch of other shit, because now when you realize that they created a standard of beauty, and beauty is defined by everything you're putting on your skin, from your lipstick, your eyeliner, your mascara, the glue in your fucking eyelashes, your fucking hair care, all of this shit is absorbed directly into your skin, right? It's absorbed directly into your skin. Now, because we know that the entire body is all skin, endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. Simply, when you put it on your ectoderm, the outer skin is going to translate to your mesoderm, move through your mesoderm, and move through your endoderm, through your entire body. Whole pH gonna be fucked up. It don't matter what you put on your vagina. Whole pH gonna be fucked up. But again, we still don't quite know the number yet. I'm gonna talk about it, but I'm setting the scene. I'm dramatic and shit. But when we tie that part into it, right? Like I said, off rip, you kill two major industries: the feminine industry, the feminine products industry, and you kill the feminine industry and you kill the cosmetic industry off rip, because now women have leverage to flex. We don't want this product because we know our pH has to be this. This product makes our pH do this. Bam, that has to come off the shelves. You feel me? These tampons, these pads, these whatever, they make our pH do this. It comes off the shelves. This shit just simply knowing your pH gives women power they never. When we look at feminism, I told you this is a rabbit hole like a motherfucker. When we consider feminism, right? Feminism was what? The fight to be equal. Damn, feminism could end right now. The necessity for women to fight for equality and fight for their rights and everything would end overnight if women just knew the number of their pH. Because everything is predicated off of how you affect the vagina. That's where it all starts. Because now when we look at the bigger scale of shit, the vagina starts and ends life, right? It controls life. It's the womb. When you can control the pH of the womb, you can control every other dynamic of that body. So now we're taking it from basic chemistry to biochemistry, right? This is why you still need to know your pH, but now you understand how these biological functions can react. Taking it back a little bit to organic chemistry and shit, in order for certain reactions to happen, in order for that balance to be made, an equation has to, like, you have to use a certain amount of this or a certain amount of that to get an equation balanced. So when they're telling you about a balanced pH, are they telling you the pH is neutral? Or does the vagina supposed to have a certain maybe acidity or alkalinity to it that is designed for the body to be at optimal position? Now, this leads me into the next point that lets me know, not lets me know, but gives me a solid reference point as to what the human. Before I even do that, man, it's so much. I can't even give the number yet because I'm skipping parts. My bad, y'all. I'm trying to keep it all together. This is an impromptu. So, considering that off rip women don't know the pH, they know it's supposed to be balanced, but they don't know how to balance it, right? You know how to, you know that you're using a product that they say is supposed to balance it, but what is it balancing it against, right? So now, when we're looking at the types of feminine products, are those products acidic or are they alkaline, right? Now, this is where it starts to get dark. Well, it's probably been dark, but this is where it really starts to get dark, because when you know the chemistry side of it, the organic chemistry and shit, and you know that equation has to be balanced, which means that whatever's on the right side has to complement whatever's on the left side in order for these two things to come into alignment to get the right number. So if we look at the way we eat, if we look at, there's no brainer. The food God, the food that we eat makes our body acidic. So for a woman's pH to be balanced, what is the opposite? So that guarantee or mean that the uh, products that a woman uses have to be in opposition to her diet in order for her pH to be balanced. Oh yeah, it's about to get there, peoples. So Pete, if you know that, and this is all just reverse engineering of my thoughts and the studies that I've done, right? So if you know that the body is, acidic because you made the body acidic. So now it's like this, okay, if I have to balance the vagina pH out, right? And we know vagina is a form of skin. Skin is our entire being, endoderm, exoderm, mesoderm, some way, shape, or form. As within, so without, as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything needs to be treated the same way. Your skin should be treated the same way. Your inner skin, your outer skin, and your middle skin should all be treated the same way, should all be given the same thing. So, what have they done to us? And I'm saying us. I mean, men, we ain't got vaginas and shit, but I'm saying us because if it starts in the womb, it affects the nation. This brings a whole different light to, I want to say it was Farrakhan, either Farrakhan or Elijah Muhammad, but one of them said that no nation can rise higher than its women. I've been hearing that quote for so long, and I've been thinking it's just more of their attitude, the way they dress, the modesty. We gonna get down to the cellular level on this motherfucker. No nation can rise higher than its woman. If the biological functions of a woman are completely fucked up and tarnished, chemically and biologically manipulated, the nation can only be as high as the womb in which it comes from. That individual can only be as great as the womb in which it comes from. Fuck with me on this. Walk with me on this. Check me out. When we look at back to the pH thing, so if they're creating things to balance the pH, they know that internally the pH is out. So they're trying to externally balance it to give it, okay, yeah, your pH is balanced, but your internal composition is off. And because your internal composition is off and they know chemically how to balance equations, they know how to meet this shit in the middle. But it's like, how did they throw it off? The food guide pyramid. They gave you a guide. See, that's why I hate and love this language, because they tell you, but they don't tell you shit. English literally says a food guide pyramid. People think we're just supposed to follow the guide. No, what are you guided into? The food guide pyramid guides you into an acidic state of mind. I'm sorry, y'all. It's too much passion and emotion in this motherfucker right now. I'm trying to keep my energy straight. The food guide pyramid, right? It is to guide your body into acidity. Mind blown shit now that I'm thinking about it. Like, it's not guiding you into eating healthy. It's not guiding you into eating better. It is guiding you into an acidic body. You feel me? This is why none of this shit makes sense. None of this shit makes sense, because now it keeps everything in motion. Doctors don't do shit. Doctors are nothing but the pawns to get the people to come to the pharmaceutical company, because the pharmaceutical company are in cahoots with everything. And I always used to ask this question. If doctors were really for the health of people, at what point were they going to protest and start lobbying against fast food, knowing that fast food does this? They can't. It's a conflict of interest, because a lot of the fast food companies are in business solely because they keep pharmaceutical companies running. Why? Because this is all science. It's all science, and it's all rooted in the pH of the womb. The pH of the womb. Because now let's look at it like this. If the food guide pyramid says this, now I know how your children are going to come out. Not only that, I know if you're even able to have children. The pH of the vagina is equivalent to the pH of the body. You have to have a certain pH. And this is where I got this from, right? Again, it's just going to be a whole bunch of nuggets that just came together in this one moment just by simply acknowledging this point. When I started studying plant-based lifestyle, when I started getting into, as far as one thing that I came up across was the mineral relativity chart, right? When we look at the minerals that we need in our body, right? We know we talk with Dr. Sabi and everything. You need 92 of everybody talks that 92, 102 mineral shit, right? But why? What's the purpose in that? Right? And then how do you know your body is really getting all 92 just because you're taking CMOS or just because you're getting them, right? Because now we got to tie it back to so many other things. Balance within the body biochemically, right? So the stomach, right, is acidic already, right? But the full dynamic of the body, in order for the body to digest all minerals, right? It needs to be roughly at a pH between, like, if I'm not mistaken, 7.4 and 7.6. Slightly alkaline because acidic is closer to zero, alkaline basics and alkalines are closer to 14. So it needs to be like a 7.4, 7.6. That's optimal body pH, right? There's no, for me, because I understand the body and I understand the different levels of the skin and all these different things, like, there's no reason that the vagina's pH should not be in alignment with the body's pH because it is one. Simple, simple shit. It's like, yo, duh, why not? But here's the problem. What is that pH? And again, this I'm saying this number because it's based off of speculation because I don't know the vagina's number. I would have to test it and find out. But even still, you can't test it in a society where the body is already fucked up. The biochemistry and the pH of the vagina is already gone because we follow a system that makes the entire body acidic. So when you start taking these, and it makes sense. It makes so much sense why they say, when women, had that phase, dice pineapples and shit, I'm gonna eat some pineapples. Trust me, eating pineapples when your body is already in a nasty state is just gonna make the shit taste nastily sweet. Like, it's different. It's different. As somebody, because I don't, you feel me? I haven't eaten many women. You feel me? But the women that I've eaten, where we were on an intimate level and shit like that, on some longevity type shit, but it was always tart. It was never sweet. It was like, so my first experience was like, yo, I guess pussy's supposed to taste like that. No, it's not. But you wouldn't know that either way because the way the body is already set up for long, like the longest. You feel me? The food guide pyramid, the food that people eat is designed to make this shit work a certain way. So if the human body, let me get back on point, and I'm gonna show you this how this ties into women too. So if the human body itself, if the human body itself has to maintain a pH between 7.3 and 7.4, well, about I'm gonna say 7.3 to 7.6 because this has to be an accurate number. Like, that's what I'm looking at for what the body is, right? If it has to maintain that, and which is slightly acidic, which means that the body has to be balanced, which means you have to, quote unquote, eat more acidic or ingest more acidic shit, more alkaline shit than acidic, in a ratio in which the alkaline wins, but it's still close. Here's why I say that. Because speaking about the mineral relativity chart, the 92 of the 102 minerals, in order for our body to absorb them, even if we pop in all the sea moss we want, in order for our bodies to absorb them, the body has to be a pH of 7.3 to 7.6 in order to assimilate it into the body. It doesn't matter if you're able to digest it and take it. Can your body assimilate it? It can't assimilate it if it's not within a certain pH. You feel me? So now, where do minerals and shit store when they don't assimilate? They have to filter through what? The kidneys. This is where you get things like kidney stones because the mineral calcified. I ain't gonna say calcium. I don't want to say calcified because you have calcium and shit, but I'm gonna say calcified for the conversation's sake. The minerals calcify in the kidneys to give you the kidney stones. Why? Because they're not able to be assimilated properly because the pH is not right in the body. The pH is not right in the body. So as it's filtering, it's not able to move through the body properly. You feel where I'm going with that? So now you have 92 minerals. Out of 102 minerals, sea moss gives you 92. But let's say your body needs 102 minerals, but in order for it to digest and assimilate all 102 of those minerals, what does it need? It needs a pH between 7.3 and 7.6. That is an optimal body pH to absorb all of the nutrients. If it is outside of that range, certain things will not be digested and will not be assimilated. Here's why this is important. Because if I'm not mistaken, calcium, I want to say calcium and iron sit outside of that range or something like that. Or it's like, okay, so if it moves, let's say it shifts from 7.3 to like 6 point something, some of your nutrients won't get used, right? Now, again, this is how I'm saying like we're getting closer to what the pH is now. You feel me? I still would have to go back in and like look at the numbers. This is impromptu. I don't have any books in front of me. I would have to actually do the research that I've already like put the shit back together and give you the actual sources and shit. But um when you see that certain cycles play themselves out, you have to observe them the right way. So when I know that the pH of the human body, in order to absorb every mineral, needs to be at an optimal 7.3 to 7.6, roughly about. That is a point 0.3 to point. And when you look in from a chemical perspective, biological perspective, point 0.3, a point 0.3 difference in pH can change everything. It seems minuscule when you're hearing it talking about 7.3 to 7.6. That's not hard. If that range is not met, and then think about it, that range of point 0.3, that difference of point 0.3, it changes drastically when you're looking at an acid and a base. Drastically when you're looking at acids and bases, because one small drop can change the entire reaction. That's how potent it is, right? So, but that's how much power is required to sway the pendulum slightly. So now, how does this apply to women? Well, when we consider a woman's cycle, right? Because and now this is something that used to always hit. This is another bridging point that I used to hear. The conscious community, motherfuckers would be like, a woman who's alkaline, she ain't supposed to have a period, or she ain't supposed to. No, 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 no. Hear me well. Every woman is supposed to have a cycle naturally, because the process of the ovulation, the egg releasing, and then being okay, you didn't fertilize me, I'm out. That has to happen. That has to happen. Now, the hemorrhaging in the blood, that's where the debate was always at. Women ain't supposed to bleed. Now, we have those issues where women like, is men telling women about women's body? No, 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 no. Hear me well. There are men telling women about their bodies, but there's men leaving information of women's bodies out. It's deeper than just trying to govern and police and tell women what their bodies are about. But it's another thing to leave out pertinent information to allow you to have control over your body. Y'all worried about laws and abortion and all that shit. Yeah, that's fucked up. Cool. But they already have a different power over you that you don't even know that they have. Simply because you don't know the pH number and they do not give it to you. When I was in med school, we didn't learn this number. We didn't learn this number. Now, I'm not saying gynecologists, when you go to your specialty, they don't learn this number, but they can't learn this number. Either way, if they know it, they're not revealing it because too many women don't know this number. You feel me? Now, again, I'm on some, I got to ask only my circle because I can't go out and just ask a random woman, hey, yo, what's your pH? That's some fucked up shit. But within my circle, they don't know. 100% of the women that I know in my circle who I've asked, they are actively going to their gynecologist, getting their pap smears and shit every year. You feel me? They don't know their pH still. So that means the gynecologist is withholding the information in some way, shape, or form. But again, this is why I'm getting to that and why it was so important and why I'm connecting it to the whole side of women. When a woman's cycle is on, what happens? She bleeds. We get it. She bleeds. But two specific events happen that are unanimous across the board, that stick, but they're relevant. And these are some of the things that make me see we can find what their pH is and then see, you know what I'm saying, how it's fucked up. And here's how. When a woman bleeds, off rip, she's losing iron. You feel me? Most women are anemic. Weird shit. Go figure. It's like, why are women anemic? Not only women, most black people are anemic too. A lot of black people are anemic. But this is the pH, so we're talking about this conversation. But now we go into the black women side of it. Y'all who I care about, who I fuck with the most. But so now most black women are anemic. Now I'm saying most because I can't say all, but I have yet to meet a black woman that I've been fully engaged with whose feet were never cold. Put some socks on. I need some socks because my feet cold. My feet cold. She knows she's anemic, right? First point. Now, it's not just a cycle, because that cycle only happens once a month, 4 to 7 days. It's about 30 days in a month. You feel what I'm saying? So it's about 23 to 27 days. She's still anemic, still cold. Body's not, so we know that the iron is gone, right? That's the first point. Second point is during the cycle, she cramps really bad. When you understand anatomy and physiology, especially for muscular firing off, you need calcium. Calcium prevents muscle cramps. The cramps that she has are because of the deficiency of calcium, right? And hitting it raw, I talked about this. I was like, this is why they create the world of like the chocolate shit. Like most chocolate is what women crave when they're on a cycle. What does chocolate have in it? Iron and calcium. Why do you think they call it milk chocolate? It's iron and calcium that they're putting in the shit because now we have created something. Your body biologically, that's why I talked about it in Hit and Raw. Your body biologically is going to make a database of the shit that's going to give it the nutrients it needs when it lacks it. When women are craving chocolate, they're craving iron and calcium that they're not getting on a regular basis. There's nothing in their stores. So even when you're eating the chocolate, it's not doing anything for you when you really get to the nitty gritty of it because calcium and iron are both minerals. Your minerals have to be absorbed within a certain pH, and your body has to be in that pH to assimilate them. To assimilate them means that it infuses them into your body and uses them as they're supposed to be used. If women are anemic and their cramps become so painful that they can't bear, that means the iron is gone and the calcium is gone. Now, here's why I talked about the mineral relativity chart in addition to that, because when you're putting these things in your body, they have to be in a certain ratio. Nature has designed it so that certain things have to go together. For example, you cannot put just calcium in your body without putting magnesium in it in an equal capacity. Crazy, right? Because what's going to happen when you go to the grocery store? The pharmacy and you getting your vitamins, and you say, "Oh, let me get my calcium." Does your calcium come with magnesium? Because calcium and magnesium have to go together. So now you just wasted your money on multiple fronts. Let me tell you how. You wasted your money on strength that you got calcium that didn't have magnesium in it. There's no one-to-one ratio between the two, so it doesn't absorb the calcium and the magnesium on rip. Even if the calcium and magnesium was together, was your body in a proper pH in order to absorb and assimilate the calcium and magnesium to be used in your body? That shit crazy, right? That shit crazy as fuck. Which now goes into a deeper aspect too, because now as women get older and their hearing starts to go away, a lot of people don't realize how much the hearing goes down simply because calcium is deficient. What causes you to hear is bones. People don't even get that. We think it's the eardrum. Oh, you got to hit the eardrum. But there's three bones: the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. Right? These three bones, when in conjunction with each other, hit the eardrum to make it vibrate. But they're bones. If you're calcium deficient, those bones deteriorate, which means your hearing goes away. Which means what? They can create hearing aids because they already know how to break down the hearing. Yo, this gonna get deep. This gonna get deep. This gonna get deep. So now, when we now tie that in, just off of those two elements, the iron and the calcium, the woman's not getting in her body. But she has her cycle. So why are women weak? Why are their cramps breaking? Like, why is it breaking? Because they don't have the necessary nutrients to offset it and their bodies can't assimilate it. So now when they tell you go take your pH feminine wash, cool. Wash with your feminine shit. But what else are you eating? Your makeup, your lipsticks, your lip gloss, all of these different things. Are they allowing your pH to be shifted into the wrong way? The vagina pH is very, very important because life, it starts and ends in the vagina. Well, it can start and end in the vagina, but it can be dictated when you understand it. So when we look at the healthcare system, when we look at how the healthcare system is developed and all of this shit, like why it's so powerful, it is because it's contingent upon the pH. Now I get it. They're like, well, why would it be dependent upon women and not men? Because wouldn't it affect equally? Men still have to come from a womb. This is why. This is one of my. Whoo, this rabbit hole is crazy. This is one of my biggest gripes with religion. Religion dishonors women. Not only that, it dishonors the vagina, but it dishonors the vagina. I'm gonna make this tie to pH somehow. But look, peep this though. And here's how I'm gonna make it tie to pH, only for this concept. Woman came from man's rib one time, but men did not stop coming from the womb since. Right? The pH of a woman's womb will determine what kind of child she can birth, if she can even birth a child. You feel me? When we look at cancers, when we look at fibroids, when we look at all of these different things, they are only viable in certain conditions chemically, which means pH wise, they can only sit within a certain way. So when we look at relaxers, when we look at all the different things that gave the fibroids and the hairs and all the other shit, those were all acidic things for the most part. Except relaxers were lie. They were either way. The point that I'm making with that is that they shifted the biochemistry and the pH. If they shift the pH, that means they create the condition. Once you know the condition that the pH is in, it sits there. So now, when they're telling us shit is hereditary, it's not. I always knew that shit. I was like, certain shit just ain't passed down. Certain shit just can't be passed down. The lifestyle and the habit is passed down. But what is really passed down is the biochemistry because you're going to do the same shit. So the human design is so dope, so flawless, right? That when a woman produces damn, even breast milk is fucked up. When a woman produces breast milk, her body still has to be in a certain state in order for the necessary nutrients, the necessary minerals that your body's supposed to have to trigger lactation. Lactation is an event. It's an event that is catalyzed by certain reactions within the body. If your body does not have the necessary things to lactate, you won't. But how do you know your body is because they know a certain acidity of the body eliminates and shuts certain shit off. You can't lactate because of this, right? Which means now I control how you get your formula. I control how you feed your babies. You don't feed them off of you because your whole shit is fucked up. Now I can control you on a deeper level because look at the baby formula shortage. A lot of motherfuckers can't breastfeed. Right now, to this day, a lot of motherfuckers can't breastfeed simply because they thinking, oh, well, this is the icing on the cake. I'm gonna finish this phrase. I'm sorry, I just keep bouncing around, y'all. It's like epiphany after epiphany is coming, like how deep this shit is. Like women think that they just can't have kids or they just can't produce the milk. No, your body is not in. Always wonder if the doctors tell you you can't do something, take a step back and ask, is it because my body is not in the condition to do it? Not because I was born this way, not because I'm following a habit. You're following a familial, like when they tell you your mom, is breast cancer in your family. No, the conditions that lead to breast cancer are in my family. That's different. That changes your dynamic. You're no longer looking at it from this is genetically something that has happened to me. This is habitually something that happens to me. This is culturally something that's going to happen to me. The reason why granny had breast cancer, the reason why mama had breast cancer, the reason why sister and all these people, the reason why breast cancer passed down, the reality didn't change. You know how I know the reality didn't change? Because typically, as a child, you're going to use the same deodorant your parent used. Your parent is probably going to use the same deodorant their parents used. Deodorants have aluminum in them. The aluminum that is in those deodorants, it goes when you put it in your armpit, because again, it's all skin. It absorbs directly into the body. Not only does it absorb into the body, it absorbs into your lymph nodes. You have lymph nodes right, I think they're called axillary lymph nodes, right by your armpit. Either axillary or apical. It's something with an A in it, I know. But you have lymph nodes right there. So when that aluminum flows into it, it's now going into to shut down your lymph drainage. Your lymph system is about draining and flushing out toxins. When that shit don't work, where do the toxins go? They stay in your body. You feel me? Everything is inside of our body. So they're teaching us that this shit is like, you feel me? You're supposed to. They got us believing, right, that this shit is about heredity. So now you're blaming your lineage. You're not blaming the actual culprits. You're not blaming the culprits. When you think it's your lineage, you don't think you can change it. When you know it's some external shit, you know what you need to do to change it. But when you think this is my family or familial structure, no, it's not. They infuse it within your familial structure because now simply they have created what the pH is supposed to be. When you know the pH of the vagina and what it's supposed to be, and now you know how to shift it out of alignment, you can control how women have birth. You can control when women have birth. You can control what I ain't gonna say what gender they're gonna have. You can't really control that yet, but you can control. if they're going to conceive, how they're going to conceive, when they're going to conceive, to what extent they will conceive, to what time pocket they have the capacity to conceive. All of these things are highly, highly, highly contingent upon the pH of the vagina, because indirectly the pH of the vagina is equivalent of the pH of the body, and the pH of the body needs to be anywhere between 7.3 and 7.6 just to absorb minerals properly. And I'm gonna show you the potency of this shit. And I'm glad this episode came up, because it's like I needed this for myself, because this is my final clarity on how this shit worked. So I always tell the story about how the doctor said my sister couldn't have kids. My sister couldn't have kids or whatever. And I put my sister on an alkaline diet. I don't even think it was 6 months. Put her on straight alkaline, and she was able to conceive my niece. They try to say it was a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. Your body shifted into alignment. It only took her 6 months. In that brief moment, her body shifted back into alignment. The motherfucking cancer scare that they said she had, the polyps and shit, it disappeared, because the conditions were no longer viable for it to happen. So yeah, I took my horn and I'm like, yeah, because of my understanding of alkalinity and shit, and there was still that missing piece of not understanding what it was. You feel me? But because of that, it was my sister was able to conceive my niece, and they told her she couldn't have kids. I said, that's bullshit, yo. You can have kids. I put money on it, and I can help you do it. And when I put her on that alkaline, we only ate straight alkaline. You feel me? She slimmed down instantly. Her like a lot of the excess fat that she had and shit, is her shape changed and shit. And then she got pregnant. And then she was like, damn, she started gaining weight. Well, y'all know the story. I've told it several times. But like, she started gaining weight and shit, and that's when we was like, yo, you eating meat again. She's like, I'm not. I just, you feel me? Found out she was pregnant, because now her body was in a biochemical position to conceive the child before it was too acidic. And then when I consider the diet, when I consider how, like, I see why. It just happens faster now. You feel me? Because there's less nutrients in the food, and we're more nutrient deprived. You feel what I'm saying? But it's contingent upon the pH. That food guide pyramid is the food guide to acidity. You feel me? That's why they encourage milk. Like, that was some of the dumbest shit fucking ever. Like, you feel what I'm saying? They be like, yo, milk does a body good. Bitch, no, the fuck it don't. Who the fuck lied to y'all? Milk ain't never do a body good. Milk is one of the things that makes the body acidic the most. Because you're drinking pus and shit. And then don't even get me to the actual traumas that you're absorbing, as far as the DNA that you've taken in from the animal when your body assimilates that from nucleic acids. That's a whole different dynamic. You feel me? To where you start to become, you are what you eat. You start to emulate the very animals you eat the most of. You dig what I'm saying? Black people, as a culture, we typically eat more of chicken and pork. Those are the things that run our tables. And we wonder why, motherfucker, from the chicken perspective, motherfuckers can't function. You run around here with it like a chicken with your head cut off. Stay confused and just jittery and nervous all the motherfucking time. Motherfuckers who eat pork got stomachs like potbelly pigs. It's no mystery. It's no mystery. But all this shit is tied to the conditions of the body. Conditions of the body. Conditions of the motherfucking body. So now, when we look at Dr. Sebi, the reason why he's telling everybody to go alkaline, because I study both. Like, they're like, yo, who's the better? I've had people ask me questions like, yo, who do you think is the better holistic, person, Dr. Sebi or Dr. Africa? I said they're both great in their own right, and we need to pay attention to both of them. Don't pick a side, use both of them. Because on one hand, I will always wonder why, like, after studying Dr. Africa, I was like, how come he don't talk about being 100% alkaline like Dr. Sebi do? And I get it. Dr. Sebi was speaking from a perspective of, motherfucker, you sick. You feel me? You're sick. So Dr. Sebi's perspective of the alkalinity is, all right, bet you have to shift your whole pH back. You're at the complete acid spectrum, so you use alkalinity to realign you. Ties it back to what? 7.3 to 7.6 of the biochemistry of the body. If you know the food guide pyramid that they're telling you is making you acidic, he says in order for you to get out of that shit, you have to be alkaline. Now, you can't be 100% alkaline, and that's where Dr. Africa came in. Once you heal, You need to be 100% acidic, alkaline to heal back. But then once you're alkaline, now you're balanced. And you maintain slight alkalinity with that 7.3 to 7.6, and now you're able to absorb all of the minerals. Hey, bro, for real though, at some point we gotta stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSaying.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now. Now, by no means is this me saying, y'all go plant-based, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Who do I give a fuck? No. No, I don't. Right? But what I do give a fuck about is you knowing this information. This is one of the reasons why now when I look at food combining, it makes so much more sense. I talk about food combining in the Hitting the Raw program and just as a whole. This is the importance of food combining, not because you know what I'm saying, it's the right way to eat right, but now I get it because now your body, these reactions, they trigger something powerful in your body. You feel me? And your body has to be able to absorb certain shit and do certain things the right way. If it can't, it's gonna completely shut down. You know what I'm saying? So when you food combine, it's the right way to eat right. Because now we have to factor in certain shit. Oh my gosh, bro. Now I'm factoring taste buds and shit. Okay, so Pete, and like a lot of this content, a lot of this information is found heavily in the Hitting the Raw program and shit. If you want to learn about food combining and all this other shit, right? But when we consider the eating aspect of it all, right? We know that we have what five tastes, right? You have five tastes. You have sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and savory, right? Savory, I ain't even gonna hold y'all, yo. I can't just dictate and say, hey, that ain't the taste, that ain't the flavor. I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna be on that tight time, but you feel me? That shit is low-key bullshit if you ask me, because like I look at it like there's actually there's four tastes in my opinion. I don't like to consider that it's five because I feel like it's cheating. I feel like it's really, really and legit not right. Right. So peep it like this. You got those four tastes for the most part: sour, sweet, salty, and bitter. Right. Each one of these tastes, each one of these tastes is a reaction to a certain chemical. Like in organic chemistry, we learn things about aromatic elements and shit like that, right? But not only do elements give off smells, they give off taste. In order, because look, peep this, right? Taste and smell go hand in hand together. I don't think a lot of people paid attention to that. Taste and smell go hand in hand together. So technically, there's only four senses, because two of them are basically the same. Smell and taste they go hand in hand together. You feel me? And they go together on the strength that if you can't think about when you was taking some bitter shit when you was a kid, what you do? You held your nose till you took it. Because you need to smell to taste, and you need to taste to smell. The two go hand in hand. You feel what I'm saying? So now when we look at those five, so when we look at how those things play out, chemically, something has to happen for you to get that taste. So now when we look at the food, right? Now we're gonna get acidic and basic type shit, right? That's why I'm only gonna use the four as opposed to the five and including savory with the shit. Because when you're considering a savory part, that's just like rich and shit. But you feel me? There's a duality between how we eat. You feel me? Sour and bitter, salty and sweet. Salty and sweet shift your body to acidity. Sour and bitter shift your body to alkalinity. Why do you think motherfuckers don't like bitter food no more? Motherfuckers can't eat bitter shit. Everything has to have sugar in it. Everything has to have sugar or salt in it. You feel me? If you live in the South, you feel me? Or you're from the South, or you familiar with grits. What do people say? What's the battle? Think about what's the debate between grits. Do you put salt or sugar in the motherfuckers? Now, both things processed, both things white. You feel me? A lot of white shit is what's damaging your body, but both things processed, both things are white, right? Now you eat them, right? And what happens, right? Your body absorbs all four. Your body absorbs in four ways. It's either going to absorb things that are sweet and sour, or it's going to absorb things that are salty and sweet, right? So now we tie that back into food combining, because when these taste buds are hit, they trigger certain enzymes to be released. You have proteases, which digest proteins. You have amylases, which digest starches and sugars. You have nucleases, which digest nucleotides. You have, damn, I should have prepared more for this. All right, so the five things you need in the body, you have protein, lipids. You have lipases, which break down lipids. So proteases for proteins, lipases for lipids, nucleases for nucleotides, amylases for sugars and starch. Yeah, then vitamins, minerals, or water. Those are the other seven things. Okay, cool. So in order to break those things down, your body has to register them, right? It's going to register them on one or two. When it hits your tongue, it's going to release the necessary enzyme based off of is it sweet, sour, salty, or bitter. You feel me? Off rip, we don't really fuck with bitter shit, and we sparingly fuck with sour shit. Sour is like the shit that we put with a dare, like, you feel what I'm saying? But think about when we look at alkalinity, what are a lot of the things on the list? Limes, citrus fruits, tropical fruit. Those are sour foods, sweet and sour, low key, but mostly they're sour. Pineapples are sour. They be like, oh, this is a sweet pineapple, but it's sour. You feel me? For the most part, lemons, limes, they're sour. You feel me? Sour shit is alkaline. Bitter shit, the herbs that all of the quote unquote healing herbs that we're supposed to take, they're bitter as fuck. Do you know why? Because bitters alleviate cancer. Bitters starve. Bitters shift your body to alkaline. But what do we mainly consume? Salty and sugary shit. Do we not? Peep it how it plays the fuck out. Really peep how it plays the fuck out. We eat a lot of salty and sweet shit. What's your average meal? French fries with salt. You get your juice, and then you get your burger that's completely improperly combined. So now you wonder why your intestines fuck up, because now your burger, your food is, you can't put protein and starch together. But what is every sandwich? A protein and a starch. The food guide is for what? It's to guide you into acidity. Again, I'm not trying to tell y'all what to eat, tell y'all how to eat. I'm trying to put y'all on game. I'm put y'all on game to the science behind what these motherfuckers are doing and how it ties into the whole pH of the woman. Because now she eats all of these things. Now, most people, like I said, you don't eat sour and bitter shit on a regular basis, but you eat sweet and salty shit all the fucking time. Potato chips, candy. Look at the snack aisle. Most snacks are what? Chips and candy, cakes and pies. Everything is about sweet and sour. I mean, sweet and salty. You eat sour shit to go on it, but you rarely fuck with bitter shit. You feel me? I remember the first time I tried to put my family on the wormwood. Motherfucker said, "Oh, nah, that's too bitter. I can't fuck with that." All right, nigga. I can't tell you what to do, but at the same time and the same token, homie, like, that's why you in the condition you in. You feel me? But you feel me? Same people that will say, you feel me? I'm speaking on general aspects. Same people that will not drink wormwood. They will not drink wormwood, Gotu Cola, Cascara Sagrada, anything that has a bitter, pungent taste to it. They won't fuck with it. But yet they'll go to Starbucks every fucking morning and get a large venti coffee, 4 creams, 10 sugars. Do the math. Do the math. You're guiding your body into acidity. And it's not that you don't know. You do not know, but you don't give a fuck. Because you don't know that you're supposed to give a fuck. Because you think you think some evil motherfuckers got your best interest in hand. And they show you day in and day out that they fucking don't. You feel me? Day in and day out that they don't. So when you know that this is what you operating from, Now we tying this all back in because I want to bring it back to the conversation of the pH, how the pH plays out, feminine pH. Because if the woman's pH is off, then her man's pH is off. Why? Because we in a certain situation where we gonna eat and live the same way. Our lifestyle is the same. Our morals are the same. We pick significant others based off of the fact of how we relate to each other. Most of our relations are trauma bonds anyway. I ain't even gonna get into that shit. But because that's how we choose to bind ourselves to each other. You dig what I'm saying? Most of our experiences are gonna be acidic, not just from a physical aspect, but spiritual as well. You can have an acidic spirituality system too. You feel me? But I'm not going too heavy into that part. I want to stick solely in the vein of the pH. The pH. So now, like I said, when a woman knows her pH number, now she will know, okay, bet. Now she can even go and get acid strips and test it. Like, you feel me? Get some of her vaginal juice and stick the acid tip in it and see, does it operate between 7.3 and 7.6? You feel me? Because certain things exist or don't exist in the healthy pH. But what is the healthy pH? They're just telling you, oh, use this because they know that whatever you put on your vagina don't matter. It's temporary. It's temporary. It's fleeting. It ain't gonna last long. Why? That's why you have to keep buying the shit because it don't matter what you put on the motherfucker. What you put in your body is gonna offset any of that shit. We're just doing this temporarily so you can go have sex. You can do whatever you want. Make your pussy feel like it's good, but it's really fucked up on the inside because on the inside of the shit, your entire being is acidic. We're gonna give you something that's real basic to try to shift it back just to make it like look like your shit is balanced. No, you don't balance your. You don't, my sisters. You don't balance your yoni from the outside in. You balance it from the inside out. Off rip means off rip. Women always talk about that. This is what Erica Badu when she was like, they asked like, yo, how your pussy so good? She like drink cranberry juice. Why does cranberry juice work? What is a cranberry? What Picture in your mind what a cranberry tastes like. Then think about the taste that I had that I spoke on. What is cranberry juice? It's a sour. It's a sour, which means what? It's not sweet. It's not salty, which means it doesn't shift your body to alkalinity. I mean to acidity. It shifts your body to alkalinity. But you can't drink cranberry juice all the time. You feel me? Well, you can. You feel me? Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's juice, my nigga. It's fucking juice. So I don't see why you couldn't drink it all the time. But the purpose that I'm making is that that's why. They be like, yo, if Erica Badu coochie that good, why? She tell them, I drink cranberry juice. You feel me? And it's deeper than, and so because people don't know the science and people don't dare to know the science, they think, oh, I'm gonna do it too. So much layers to this shit. This is why belief is what it is. This is why I always talk about belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is the perfect example of why you need to have understanding rather than just belief. Belief is I gotta balance my motherfucking pH. Understanding is knowing exactly what your pH number is and knowing which thing's gonna work for it. You see how much, like, just between the healthcare system ain't shit. The pharmaceutical system, it ain't shit. They do this shit because they know what they can do now. They know how the body responds to certain things simply because they know the biochemistry. You don't. So they mass produce all of this shit and they tell you this is what you have to have in order for this to work. You can literally shut down your entire reality and what they're doing to you in a matter of switching your just how you consume shit. But we can't stop consuming sweet shit. We can't stop consuming salty shit because now that goes in the other things. What are most of the things that we assimilate salty with? Crunchy. When you're nervous, when you're always nervous, that ties into your reality. You know how fearful women are? Women eat a lot of crunchy foods. Or when you're deprived of love, you want something sweet. Why do you think they give chocolates on Valentine's Day? Why is that the thing? Like hearts and chocolates and shit for Valentine's Day. You give somebody chocolate and shit like that because sweet is tied to the emotion of feeling good, love deprived. When you love deprived, you want something sweet. Like it's deep. Like this shit is deep, and nobody wants to talk about it. Like people be like, "Oh, I want something sweet." When people just randomly want something sweet, they need love, and they can't even acknowledge it. They need to be loved on. They need somebody to feel for them. They need somebody to care for them because the warm feeling that somebody's not giving them, the candy is giving it to them. They need something sweet. When they nervous and they jittery, they either gonna eat potato chips a whole bunch or they gonna bite their fingernails. They're gonna bite their fucking fingernails. You feel me? Because they need that crunch. That crunch, it helps solidify. It's tied to nervousness. I would have to, spend some more time and study a little bit deeper to see how exactly it's tied to nervousness. But crunching is tied to nervousness. Sweetness is tied to love, the lack of love. You feel what I'm saying? So when we need to correct that, we need bitters. Like it's like the bitter truth. Why do you think lies are sweet but truths are bitter? Because what really is gonna be for your ass ain't good. It don't taste good. It never tastes good. That's sour and sweet. You feel what I'm saying? So if I know this is with the condition that these foods and these things will put in your body. So now you're telling a woman you need to eat more of this. For what? For what? Now, this is that white coat shit. You feel me? Look up the Milgram experiment, right? But it's the white coat shit. Your doctor tells you whatever and you just accept it because you think they got their best. That's why all of this is what it is. They pay doctors what they pay them. They put people through these strenuous things just to serve as an image. They have no relevance in this game. They know you're going to listen to your doctor without question. You feel me? So now, and they know you'll listen to your lawyer without question. So now, when we look at the divide, the law system is killing black men, the healthcare system is killing black women. You feel me? This is how. You feel me? This is how. It's deeper than just, oh man, she's complaining about pain. She ain't really hurt. No, it's more than that. They were gonna kill you before that. They know the conditions to make sure that you can die during childbirth. All because of your pH and you don't know the shit. Why? Because if the pH is the baby can't form and develop properly. So you're likely to have a breech birth, a premature birth. This baby, we're not going to get out because we have to induce your labor. We know because induced labor is something that going into labor is something that an acidic body can't do on its own. The more acidic the motherfucking body, the harder it is for it to induce its own labor. So we control how to induce the labor. Now, when we induce the labor, now we can put shit in there. You can get your shots. You can get your. I'm not like, yo, the shot, if you need it, you need it. But what I'm saying is, those are things now that you have to have. I'm going to tie it back to my motherfucking sister. My sister, when she had my niece, they were just like, yo, she got the pain and she pushed through or whatever the case may be. But when it was time, there was no fight. Mind you, she had been alkaline. She had been like her body was in that. But when it was time to have a baby, she felt the pain, but she was like, as soon as I felt it, it was like, they gave me the shot, and then I pushed, and then that was it. Like her body didn't fight the release of the child. Like some people, I was in labor for 18, 19 hours. How? Your body was not in the condition to deliver the child correctly. But because it happens so frequently, because it's so normal, it's such a normalcy that we think it's normal, and it's not. All of this shit is tied to this because women don't know their pH number. They know their pH is supposed to be balanced, but then it's like, if my pH is supposed to be balanced, like, how do I balance it? So now you got Summer's Eve, they're cleaning it. They're using washes, not internal cleanses. It don't matter what you wash it with. Tying it back to the diced pineapples thing. Women talking about, I'm gonna eat some pineapples before he come over. It ain't gonna do shit. It's like putting cologne over dirt. It's like, you know how like a motherfucker, he ain't took a shower or whatever. He just worked out and then sprays cologne on it. In high school, we used to do this shit. After PE, we didn't have enough time to take a shower before the next class. So we've been sweating and balling and shit. We put some more deodorant on, just put some Axe over the shit. No, nigga, that's nasty. We did it. We did it. That's what the pineapple shit is like. Y'all really just gonna put some perfume over that motherfucker? Okay. But again, we don't even know what it's supposed to be like. You feel me? I dealt with a woman one time who was on some plant-based shit, and she pointed me out to something. She said, when a woman, her body is right, her vaginal juice look like aloe vera. And it was like, when I really sat and I was like, damn, when it's all caked up and clumpy and it's not fluid like that, that's acidic. When it's alkaline, it literally looks like aloe vera gel. Like, you ever cut an aloe vera plant and scrape out the filling and you know how to just drip? Like, that's what vagina juice is supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like that. clear fluid that flows straight through. So when we have discharge, when I said we, like I got one, when women have discharges and shit, I was flowing too much. So when women have like discharges and shit, and you feel me, it's like their body isn't producing correctly. Then it's like, where did it go? You feel me? That's when it gets all clumpy and like it's different. It's different. And it's all linked off of the fact that women don't know their pH number. Cause like I said, everything shuts down. Cause now y'all control shit. And the men that want to be with y'all, now we have to change shit too. You feel me? That shit was real. When they said shit like, they be like, if you want change, and they make it for like, yo, women, if you want to be protected, you feel me? Here's another part of this protection because this part is gonna get ugly. Because everybody wants to be the women, they be like, yo, if you want to be protected, women, y'all want black men to protect you, whatever, withhold the pussy or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. That's cool. You can do that. You could try that. You feel me? You could try. But when we consider that point, it's like you got to ask yourself, do women want to be protected or do they want to be fought for or fought over? My sisters, I want y'all to sit with that question because that's the thing. Y'all keep talking about wanting to be protecting and shit, but y'all want, because if a man truly protect, this episode that I'm giving y'all is protection. This is protection. I'm making you aware of some shit that you didn't even know you needed to be aware of. I'm making you aware of some changes and shit. But do you fight the protection? I talk about the situation where I was in Philly and I was on the train or whatever, and dude, like I said, he was screaming on the shorty, wilding on her and shit. And he like, and I'm, they say protect women. So I'm like, hey, yo, bro, leave her alone, bro. Like, chill out. And she say, nigga, mind your motherfucking business. She say that shit. I guess that's her man, whatever. He's fire off on it. Everybody look at me like I should do something. She told me to mind my business. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the physical. But what about when you're supposed to be protected mentally, spiritually, biologically? Like, are you willing to make the necessary change because you're being protected? Again, I'm not saying y'all got to go plant-based. I'm saying now y'all need to be extra attentive with the shit that you do. It's not just enough to have a balanced pH. You need to have a balanced body, but you need to know what your pH number is when it's balanced. You feel me? Again, I don't know 100% that the vagina is supposed to be at a 7 point, between 7.3 and 7.6. I'm speculating on the fact that one, the skin, the entire being is made of skin. So endoderm, ectoderm, mesoderm. So it's all one. You feel what I'm saying? If the full body, as far as how you got to digest and process minerals, needs to be between 7.3 and 7.6 in order for you to efficiently assimilate and digest all 102 minerals. You feel me? The reason why it's 92 out of 102 because the other 8 can be manufactured when the other minerals are configured a different way. You feel me? It's that potent. But anyway, it's just like amino acids and shit. Like one of the amino acids your body doesn't make. You have essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. The essential amino acids are the ones you have to get from outside. Non-essential are the ones your body makes once you have the essential amino acids in your body. It literally configures them to what it needs to. One in particular is cysteine and cysteine. Cysteine you have to get from outside of your body, but once you get it in your body, it transforms to cysteine. Powerful shit. The body says, I know what the fuck I'm doing. You got to give me what I need. You feel what I'm saying? So again, I'm not saying that the pH itself of the vagina has to be between 7.3, 7.6. But again, I'm basing it off of the totality of everything else. If the human body itself has to be at a 7.3 to 7.6 in order to assimilate all minerals, you feel me? Minerals are cool. Like that's one of the things they deprive us from. Minerals are grounding. Minerals are a foundation. Vitamins are, they promote vitamins all day long. What the fuck is the purpose of having all this energy if you don't have any structure with the shit? Your body has no structure. So they don't promote minerals like that. They just don't. They don't look at minerals as the thing that you got to have. You feel me? But they give you certain minerals. They don't give you all of them. What are the popular minerals that you take? Magnesium, iron, and calcium. Go to your local pharmacy section. Look at the minerals that they have listed right there that you can take. Typically, people are going to be iron deficient, calcium. So they tell you iron deficient, calcium deficient, magnesium deficient. There's 102 fucking minerals. How can you only be deficient in 3? And then when you add the mineral relativity chart, how certain things have to be compounded in order to work. If you're deficient in 1, you're deficient in like 7. You feel me? It's like On the mineral relativity chart, if I'm not mistaken, I think phosphorus itself, the element of phosphorus, goes with like 9 elements. Nine, it needs to be paired with 9 other elements in order to work. You feel me? So just imagine if you don't have phosphorus. Now, here's why that's important, because our cells, the individual cells, they're coated by a phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid bilayer. Now, I know sciencey, so let me break down the words. Phospho automatically denotes there's a phosphorus in it. Lipids are your fats, right? The bilayer, bi, to layer, a layer. There's 2 layers. There's a dual layer of phosphorus and lipids, a phosphorus and a fat. In order for that fat to bind to the phosphorus, you need to have phosphorus in there. So if you don't have an abundance of phosphorus in your body, and you don't have lipids, the necessary lipids in your body, you're not even creating the phospholipid bilayer that your cells need to avoid being permeated and damaged. This shit get deep, y'all. And it's like I said, it starts from the womb, because if the woman's pH is off, and like the child that she produced starts off from the level of where the woman's biochemistry is. You feel me? This is why breastfeeding was so potent when it was potent, because when it was able to happen, like motherfuckers, I'm not trying to be funny, but dead ass motherfuckers, I don't think they can breastfeed no more. That's sad, homie. I don't think women can breastfeed no more. And that's an ugly reality to know that women can't breastfeed anymore, because breastfeeding was so potent. You go get formula, right? Formula, your body, your baby just feeds off of it. But breast milk, as your baby is sucking on the titty and shit, if the baby's sick, it translates back into the colostrum. There's a biological production called colostrum that the body has. Only a woman can produce this. Only the female genders can produce this in any animal species, any human species. Only the women can produce this. If you're not producing breast milk, that means you're not producing colostrum. If you're not producing colostrum, that means your body cannot be connected to your child to know how your child is connecting. Here's what I mean by that. If your child has a cold and you don't know it, and your child breastfeeds, that saliva now penetrates into your breast, and the colostrum changes because it recognizes what it needs to offset this cold. But you have to have it in your body for it to work. You feel me? You feel me? What are they telling you now? Zinc boosts immunity, or whatever the case may be. When the baby is sick, the colostrum now recalibrates with zinc in it, but you got to have zinc in your body. If you don't, where you think the zinc's going to pull from? Now we're getting a lot deeper now, because there's a lot of women who after birth, what do they start using? They start losing their hair. They notice that their teeth are getting weak, their bones are starting to get brittle, because your body says, I need to take this from somewhere in order to make this child live. I have to take it from somewhere. So it takes it from your bone marrow, takes it from your hair, it takes it from every part of your body. Now, the hair, the bones and the muscles, the nails, all of the shit that starts to get brittle, the teeth and shit, they're tied to the mesoderm and the ectoderm. Your body is telling you, I need to pull from 2/3 of our entire being in order to feed this child, because you don't have any of the nutrients I need. Think about that. 2/3 is 66%. Your body literally has to pull from 66% of itself when it's not deficient, when it's deficient in things, when it lacks. And I get it. We could say, oh, well, at least it does it. It's, imagine if it didn't have to. That's worse than living paycheck to paycheck. Your body's in debt. Your body's in debt and it still has to pay out. Think about that. You ever took out an open end loan? You feel me? You can take out as much as you want as long as you put it back. But for every $100 you take out, you're only able to put 5 back. At what point? No, I'm gonna use it because I used it. For every $100 you put in, no. For every $100 available. So let's say you take an open end loan out. For every $100 available, you have to take $66 out of it. At some point, you can't take $66 out of it anymore. Then you start breaking down. So now when women get older and it's like, why can't she hear like she used to? because the calcium is gone. The calcium has been stripped so much that now it's not making it up to the bones. The body is now deciding, I need to pick where I'm going to be strong at. Fuck it. You don't need to hear. You got 4 other senses. You don't need to hear that well. You feel what I'm saying? You don't need to hear that well. So I'm not going to put the calcium to strengthen and continue to sustain the malleus, the malleus, the incus, and the stapes bones to trigger your so it's like when you see older people, why does it take so long? Like they say something, it takes so long for it to register. No calcium to produce the bones to keep the bone strong, so the ears do not function properly. They can't hear. This happens to women. Their hair starts thinning and shit like that and all of that because when she gets pregnant, all that because the nutrients are gone. Most of this is nutrient based. All of this is nutrient based, but it's also pH contingent because if the vagina's pH is not right, that means the whole body's pH ain't right. It ain't just the vagina. It ain't just the vagina. So now here's where it gets like a lot more potent because if that's the reproductive aspect, that's what we're looking at it as. Oh, this is reproduction. This is the reproductive perspective of what the body is. So if that's the reproductive, that means that's the life function. The life don't work. And that's all that's all indicative based off of the sole fact that you know the pH of a woman's body. That's a different level of sinister shit. That's a different level of sinister shit because now you control the world. You control the womb. You know what you can and can't do and what you should and shouldn't be doing and what you will and won't do. But the very being and the very vessel who it belongs to, you're not telling them that? Misogyny's a bitch. I ain't even gonna hold you, yo. Misogyny is some fucked up shit. And now it furthers on to what I was saying. Like in So For One, when I was like, misogyny was the competition between men before it was the hatred of women. This competition between men, now I control your woman. That's a different level of power. Think about it. Like, yo, as a black man, when we look at, oh, they using the sciences or whatever the case may be or whatever, as a black man, I know that I can, this changes my perspective right now deeply on a whole different level. As a black man, I know as a black man, I know they control my lineage because they control how my woman is they control the pH of my woman. And I know nothing about her pH other than, oh, it's got to be good for me to get some good pussy or some shit like that. Nah, buddy, if her pH is off, her entire body is off. And as a man, as a protector, it's on me to figure that shit out, to know that shit, to put that shit into perspective, to say, you know what, hey, babe, you might need to start doing this or try to do this, add this to your regimen, add this, like, that's on me. See, we look at the protection and providing shit and just like, yo, I got to be able to fight. Nah, bro, can you fight all fights? Can you fight all fights? Can you fight the spiritual fights? Can you fight the mental fights? Can you fight the emotional fights? Can you fight the physical fights? The biological fights? You don't even know what the fight is. This episode is for both my brothers and my sisters. It's largely for my sister, but my brothers too. Like, you feel me? We're affected by this. This is just like pink tax, bro. We're affected by this. But this is pink tax. This is why pink tax can happen. You feel me? We create the condition to make you need the feminine products we tell you you're supposed to have. We create this whole standard of beauty of what beautiful is, and beauty is always tied to staying young. This is, man, I promise. I'm going to try to wrap this episode up, but the thoughts just keep coming. Beauty is tied to youth for the most part. You feel me? Women's beauty is defined by, how young she can look for the most part and how appealing, right? But the most is the young. The older women get, they start losing themselves. They start getting the retinol shit and wanting to do all this other shit because they stop feeling that they can be beautiful at that age because they only remember when they were young. You hear older women say, oh, I was such this one. Like, you're still that now. You just don't believe it in yourself. But the standard of beauty has changed and diluted a lot of shit. So when we consider that, we create the system that makes you age faster. So you need our stuff earlier. It's fucked up for them because, they don't age the way we do, but we still age. And we still follow that shit. And our sisters are still, and our women are still using the very templates and shit that they use to solidify, themselves as, oh, I got to do this because I'm getting old. I need it. No, you're not. You're malnourished. You're not aging. You're malnourished. And because you're malnourished, it's causing the aging to happen faster. You feel me? I get it, black don't crack, but how much more would black not crack if black knew its pH? If black knew the pH your body is supposed to be and knew how to test it. See, you can't really test the pH on a man because he doesn't have a necessary bodily fluid that can, you know what I'm saying, that you can actively gauge and test in the moment. And you can change in the moment. You feel what I'm saying? He don't have that. You feel me? Who has that is the woman. You feel me? The woman has it in the context that, okay, you can test this and you can change it and you can shape it. And that dictates everything else. You feel me? A man doesn't know his pH is off. He doesn't know his biochemistry is off. He don't. Especially if he's still able to function and quote unquote live life, and he out here, running these streets and dipping off in these hoes and all this other shit. We're not thinking about that other shit that comes with it. We don't have to. But the woman's pH is very important because it shows the biochemistry of what her body is actually like. You dig what I'm saying? So if our women are not able to know their pH and shit, so now it's like tying it back in, looking at the skincare area. Most of it is age defying shit. You can't defy age. You're gonna get old, my nigga. Like you're supposed to get old. However, there's a difference between aging and getting old. When you're malnourished and you're nutrient deprived because you don't have the necessary minerals. Fuck the vitamins and shit right now. Because there's niggas that I know still taking vitamins. Something's not right because you're not getting minerals. Your body needs minerals too, not just vitamins. It needs grounding. It needs foundation to build itself. You feel me? The vitamins and shit help it act. You feel me? The minerals help it stabilize. From your hormones to your emotions to all of these things, like your minerals help it stabilize. You feel me? Women's emotions. Women aren't stable. I don't know funny shit like, oh, they some unstable creature. No, I'm not saying it like that. Literally, biochemically, women are not stable. We ain't stable as men, but biochemically, women are not stable. And like I said, for women, it's worse because they lose a lot more. They lose blood. When they lose blood, they lose life force energy. They lose life force energy when they're bleeding. We don't bleed as often as women bleed every fucking month. You feel me? And for some women, the cycles can run the full 7 days. You feel me? Some is short, but you're gonna bleed and you're gonna cramp and you're gonna get sleepy because now you getting cold because you iron. That's just iron and calcium. There's still 100 more nutrients that the body needs: copper, gold, silver, iron, lithium, beryllium. You feel me? Argon. You feel me? Xenon. Like there's a whole bunch of naturally occurring elements that your body needs. Tin. You feel me? Lead. Like, so now it's like, oh, well, what about lead poisoning and all this shit? Now, I'm not talking about lead poisoning because, again, to get lead poison, your body there has to be something bound with that lead. Your body can internalize certain things depending on how nature puts it together. Nature puts shit together in the right way. Man puts shit together in the wrong way. And then we take it in from man, but we deny it from nature. That makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense. Because what nature does is permanent. What man does is temporary. Keeps you coming back, tying it back in. Simply because women do not know their pH number, the feminine aisle. These three aisles are the biggest. The feminine aisle, as far as your tampons and your pads and shit, you have the beauty aisle, the cosmetic aisle. Well, I'm gonna say beauty aisle because you have your age-defying creams and all that other corny shit. You have that in there. Then you have the makeup aisle, lip glosses, eyeliners, all of this shit. These things are all used on direct portals into your body. Your lips, right there by your mouth. How often, you feel me? I get it. Y'all touch up and use your lip gloss. It be popping and shit and all of that shit. But how often do you lick your lips? I don't know. I mean, I've never worn lipstick. I don't know, but even with using chapstick, I'll still lick my lips from time to time just because it's the. So I ask women, how often do you lick your lips when you had that bright red, pink, all of this other shit? How often do you lick your lips? How much of that shit is passed already into your body? When you use your eyeliner, how much of that has gotten into your eyes, already sent down into your body? You see what I'm saying? They know. They know what the fuck they're doing. You feel me? Those are three. And then you had a baby aisle. The baby aisle. You feel me? Pampers, different. But then when you look at the baby aisle itself, as far as the sickness, the colics, and all of these other things, those things could be offset if she could breastfeed and she had the nutrients to give the right colostrum to offset that. They fucked it up. So now, when that baby's born, right, what does it develop into? Imagine already being in debt when you start something. You dig what I mean? Imagine already being in debt when something pops off for you. That's what children are like. And you just go with the flow. You just go with the flow. You don't ask no questions. You don't say shit. You don't worry about nothing else. You just kind of, do what you told. You feel me? But in doing what you told, like how many women actually know this shit? It's good that like I got it. Like the pH talk now, it's kind of just popping. I get it now. The pH talk is kind of new. It's kind of just popping here. And it's like in my generation. Like growing up, I didn't hear much about pH talk. Women didn't know much about pH. That means that you didn't know much about pH back then, like about 30 years ago. The fuck? That means they didn't know about it 60 years ago, 70 years ago. Like the conversation that is being had about pHs now is so much more potent and significant than it's ever been. But do you know why it's more potent and significant than it's ever been? Simply because you have more people paying attention, but it's still not getting to the details. So the thing about the system, it gives you enough to make an adjustment so that way it can keep you in the delusion, but it doesn't tell you anything to free yourself from it. Like when COVID hit, you know what did people start saying? Make elderberry syrup. But what did they do? They said, let's put elderberry in things. Fuck that. They're not getting off this shit. But when you went to it, it was never elderberry in the actual shit that you were buying. It's elderberry flavored. Go read that shit. Go read all of the shit that you have like that has like, this is for your immunity and this is all the shit and it tells you what it has on it. Read it. It's that flavored. It's not that. Look at all the elderberry shit they got going on right now. It's not elderberry, it's elderberry flavored. Look at all of the just everything. What you think is actually good health ain't good health. It's flavored. Go back and look at it. Go back and look at it. But they created that shit because they're like, we have to make sure the body stays like this. If the body stays like this, we can keep making money off of them. They need us. So much so now that it's like your body, when your body's pH is completely all like, and that's why this is the point that I'm getting. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If a woman's pH is off, the pH of her family is off. I'm gonna say that again. If a woman's pH is off, the pH of her vagina is off, the pH of her entire family's biological system is off. Do you know why? Because she's the nurturer and sustainer. By default, the universe granted her the nurturer and sustainer. You can only nurture and sustain to the capacity you can nurture and sustain yourself. So when women don't even know the number their pH is supposed to be, how does that nurture and sustain them? Because now they don't know what it requires to make it balanced. They don't know what's required to make it balanced internally, only externally. Because they don't know what it takes internally, the family structure is the same way. You feel me? A woman's going to set the standard. If I need my pH to be this, her man has to operate like this, which means you have to eat this way. You have to drink this way. You have to stop doing this. You can't do this. You can't do that. Things have to change, right? He changes, which changes the expression of how the kids are developed. Their pH is going to be dependent upon the parents' pH. The husband and wife, the boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever motherfuckers is these days, Their pH is going to be contingent upon the woman's pH of her vagina. And that's going to be contingent upon whether she knows the shit or not. This is powerful as hell. This is powerful as hell because you can control the world simply by knowing the pH of the vagina and keeping that number away from women. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right, I'm going to end it there. Even though this was all over the place, I got excited at moments and shit, just the way shit was connecting. I hope it, made sense and it was fluid enough, for the most part. Yeah, as a man who's going to have a wife, as a man who's likely to have a daughter, as a man, like, these are things that are important to me. So when they come across it's like, damn, that shit makes sense. I got a sister, I got a mama. Like, these are things that I should have known a long time ago. Just like, to be honest, I don't even know if they know. I don't even know if they know. Everybody talks about the pH being balanced, but nobody talks about what number the pH is supposed to be. That's important. That's important as fuck. If you don't know what number the pH is supposed to be, how you going to manage everything else? Because like I said, it takes responsibility into the shit. So now, when I talk about how the ancestors used to say, ignorance is not bliss, it's evil, right? And then when I say capitalism works off convenience and laziness. No, it works off convenience, which is ignorance and laziness. They make you this way for a reason so they can capitalize on you by making it convenient. You feel what I'm saying? This is no funny shit. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being 100% serious when I say this shit. Some women coochie stink not because of the external aspect, but because of what's going on internally. But they'll go put some Summer's Eve or some shit on it and spray it to mask it. No, you got to fix the internal problem. You feel me? Older women are like, I got to get rid of these crow's feet and these lines and shit. Those crow's feet would have never came had you had the nutrients ahead of time. You feel me? And then when your genetics are a lot more dominant than other people's, you need a lot more. You feel me? We talk about black not cracking. Imagine, imagine if we were actually in a pristine state, what black would do. It's amazing. But it's dependent upon, to the core of it, understand a woman's pH, knowing the importance of a pH number, knowing the number. Again, I don't know that this is the number for sure, but I do know from my studies and everything that the body itself, in order to assimilate, not only digest, but assimilate the necessary nutrients in it, it needs to be anywhere between 7.3 and 7.6, which means slightly alkaline, but close to neutral as possible. Which means don't deprive yourself of acidic foods and things like that. I'm not saying don't eat that because, like I said, you have 4 taste buds that should be evenly balanced: sour, bitter, sweet, and salty, and savory too. But I don't know what the fuck savory tastes like. I just know that it's a rich feeling, but I just don't know like where you can like find that at for the most part. But yeah, as I said, those are the 4 elements. The 4 things that your body has to have, 4 taste buds that your body has, right? So in some way, shape, or form, even if we just put it down to the basic numbers, if you have 5 taste buds, right, that's literally 20% that each taste bud should be stimulated equally if you're doing things equally. So you should eat the same amount of bitters that you're eating sweets, that you're eating salty, that you're eating sour, and that you're eating savory. But do we? Like, are we really on that type time where we're doing what we're supposed to be doing with our bodies, for our bodies, how our bodies need to have the shit done for it? Because that would dictate, and it will really, really set the tone for what our pH is supposed to be. And I'm saying our because our pH of the body, but it's indicative of a woman's pH. It's crazy how low key we knew this as men, but we didn't know this as men. Like some men will determine their sexual status based off of whether their woman got something or not. Some niggas won't get now. That's scary. It's dangerous. And I'm not saying I do it. I'm not saying I've ever done it. But I know some dudes will be like, yo, if my girl good, I'm good. Low key, that has some power to it and some merit to it because if your girl's pH is off, your pH is off. If something's off with your girl's vagina, like her vaginal pH is off, everything within her internal body is off too. And if you two fucking with each other, y'all go on dates, y'all eat the same food, y'all drink the same shit, your pH is fucked up too. This isn't hereditary. The shit that you about to pass down to your children ain't hereditary. It's habitual. It's cultural. It's not quite the reality they painted and told you that it was. But do you know that? Do you know why that's not the reality? Nah, you think you got this shit from grandma. No, you got it from Walmart. You got it from the Piggly Wiggly. You got it from Food Line. You got it from Save-Ons. You got it from Lucky's. You got it from your local grocery store, homie. And don't even know the shit. You think you got it from, yo, this is just in our family. It's not. The habit is in your family. Now I understand why the habit is in your family. It don't matter if y'all, yeah, so what, they eat pork. Oh, we don't eat red meat. We don't eat this. Like, you follow a food guide pyramid that guides your body into acidity. Think about it. Go look at the food guide pyramid. Then go study the alkalinity and shit and see all of the shit that, even if you just studying Dr. Sabi, see what he tell you not to eat. It's all of the shit that's on a food guide pyramid because all of that shit is acidic. All of that shit makes your body acidic. Then on top of that, when you don't food combine it properly, I didn't get to this point, and I meant to get to it. But when you don't food combine properly, when your body based off of those taste buds is going to determine which enzyme is supposed to secrete in order to digest it properly, right? But when things clash and they don't digest, your body's only going to choose to digest one. You feel me? So if your body's in a space where it's like, yo, bro, you put a starch and a protein in here, I'm only breaking down one. You feel me? I break down the starch. All right, whatever. And then the protein stays there. And an undigested protein sits in the large intestine. And then it circulates toxins back within your body. Like this shit is it's a mean science, homie. It's a mean science, dog. It's like the shit different. It's shit different. It hit different because it's like when you know the science, like when you ignorance ain't bliss, y'all. It's evil. Like ignorance is not bliss, it's evil as fuck, yo. Like, and there's no way nobody is gonna argue with me or debate me on that shit because you can't. You can't. Being ignorant and being oblivious to some shit is one of the ways in which, as people, we look at reality different. You feel me? And as long as our reality is gonna be twisted and tainted and shit, we gonna live a fucked up world. So it's like, again, I don't know 100% if the pH is 7.3 to 7.6 for the vagina. I just know that's what it is for the body. And I know that based off of what they condition us to eat, mostly is mainly salty and sweet foods, right? We're depriving ourselves of half the spectrum of the food that we're supposed to eat to keep our body in alignment. You feel me? So we eat a lot of dead shit anyway. You feel me? And that's what it plays out to. So when a woman's pH is off, the pH of her vagina is off, that means the pH of her body is off. This goes so much different because now look at her friends. Their pHs is off too. I don't give a fuck if y'all think y'all using the feminine wash. Y'all about to go have a girl trip. Y'all gonna order drinks and food and all this. Y'all eat the same shit. Eat the same food, drink the same shit. All y'all pHs are the same. Birds of a feather flock together. So that means now all of the men that y'all fucking with, or women y'all fucking with, or whatever, however y'all getting down, non-binary, but they pHs is fucked up too. It's sad. This is a cold reality that they've done, and now you understand why women are the focal point of this shit. So when feminism started, oh, we want to be equal to men. You can't. You shouldn't be trying to be equal to men. You need to be fighting to know what your pH number is. You know what your pH number is, you can fight men at will. You can shut down this entire system right now. You feel me? Overnight, overnight, the misogynistic system of that is, patriarchy and all that shit imposed on women can change overnight simply by you knowing what your pH number is and what it's supposed to be. Because now you can take the proactive approach to say, I can't put this in my body anymore. I need to put this in my body. Or I shouldn't be doing this. Convenience got to stop when you know what's killing you. Those fibroids, they operate only in acidic conditions. Those cancers only operate in acidic conditions. You feel me? Think about the cancers, though. Let's think about the biggest cancers that affect women. You feel me? Women, what kind of cancers do y'all mainly get? Not even women, just people. We mainly get cancers of the reproductive areas. Think about it. Fibroids, breast cancer, prostate cancer. Most of the cancers are largely associated with reproduction. They've been controlling the population long before these COVID vaccines. Nobody was able to see it because they missed that one piece of not knowing what the pH number of a woman's vagina is. That is so fucking powerful. And like I said, I don't quite know if it's going to be 7.3 to 7.6, but I know the human body is supposed to be between that in order to absorb all nutrients. When I do the reverse engineering about things that women are deficient of, I can pretty much gauge where her sit. Like, why can't you absorb these minerals? Because now it's going to offset the problem that you have if you have the abundance of those things in your body. Cramps ain't supposed to last that long. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nutrients that has to happen. There's nutrients that got to be there. There's it's a level of understanding that you got to have. And like I said, for my resources, because I know y'all gonna ask, look up Dr. Africa's African Holistic Health. That's a good book. His other book, Diagnose Yourself. Diagnose Yourself. That one is very, very potent as well. That's the one that has the mineral relativity chart in it and the pendulum that swings between how, the minerals and stuff you're supposed to look up. Study anatomy, physiology. I know y'all ain't gonna do it, but a little bit of organic chemistry and a little bit of biochemistry. I'm a forensic biologist. I get it. I don't practice. I don't work in the forensic. I did not forget none of the shit that I learned, but now I know the potency of why I needed to learn it. And like that one idea, just asking that simple question, man. I was like, hey, Bun, like, what's the pH supposed to be? She like, I don't know. They just talk about it being balanced. And we sat and thought, I said, that's all they say is it balanced. Like, what's the number? And then because they revealed this number. You feel me? Imagine this. Like, you feel me? They reveal this number and you a thinker, you a researcher, you a like you know what I'm saying? You go into the archives to study shit, they can't control you no more. I used to always say this. I don't know if you heard it on one of these episodes or something before, but I said, they don't fear you because they know what you eat. When your enemy knows what you eat, they don't give a fuck about you. Your enemy not only knows what you eat, they tell you what to eat, how to eat it, when to eat it, and in what quantities you should eat. They told you what a serving size was. They told you everything for the experiment to say your body's going to go into acidic. We're going to make it acidic so we can function it, and we're going to make it shut down. You can't work without us. That's why Dr. Sebi had to be taken out, because Dr. Sebi was talking about alkaline, and it was like, he's eventually going to push the point to where somebody's going to come to terms with the fact that it's not that you got to be 100% alkaline. Your body's too acidic, and you use the alkalinity to shift it back, and then you can go back and operate between acid and base, but you need to be closer to alkaline, 7.3 to 7.6. It's all right there. They know, but they're not going to tell you because you'll be too free. Because the moment the woman takes control of her body, that's why this abortion shit is bullshit. They keep talking about abortion. Let a woman control her body. Do you really want to control your body, or do you just want to control how you can kill with your body? I get it. You don't want to be accountable for the shit you fucked up at. Rape and incest and shit, those get the pass. Everybody's not being raped, and every baby conceived is not incestual. We got to stop putting that shit into, and this is the shit that I be talking about with femininity and masculinity. Masculinity is analysis, deconstruction is principle. Femininity always adjusts to detail to erase. Well, what about you? Did you get raped? Why did you get an abortion? I've had women say, well, people get abortions because they got, no, you voluntarily had sex and didn't want the baby no more. That's different. You don't fit in that. You can't use that argument because you don't fit in that reality. You dig me? So I get the ones who are raped. I get the ones who like that other shit. That's different. But a lot of you motherfuckers ain't fitting in that reality. And y'all just getting them. But again, they know. No funny shit. I ain't even gonna say that because that's not where this conversation was supposed to be going. But yeah, when women know their pHs, standards gotta change. That pH, the actual number. Go do your research. Go do your research. You feel me? Check some of your vaginal juices and shit if you got it. Dip a little tip in the shit. See what the pH is. Right? If you sick, chances are that's why. The more acidic your body is, the worse condition, the worse the diseases are. The more acidic, the higher cancer, the more cancerous it is, which means the more alkaline, the less cancerous it is. However, you can't do it off of extremes. And how you know you can't do it off of extremes? Because the most alkaline thing on the face of this earth is ammonia. Take a shot of ammonia and see what the fuck happens to you. It'll be the last alkaline you ever reach. So it ain't like your body has to be 100% alkaline. It can't be. But that's where that balance comes in. And if you have that neutral pH at the body of 7.3 to 7.6, chances are it's supposed to be the same for the vagina as well. And like I said, the pH of the vagina is balanced and in tune, not balanced in the sense of imbalance in conjunction. Oh, I'm gonna say it like this and I'm gonna wrap it up. Not balanced in comparison to the condition of the body, but balanced how nature designed it to be. You dig what I'm saying? Because if your body's fully acidic and you're using these feminine washes and shit to balance it, all it's doing is bringing it to neutrality based off of where it is. It's not fixing the condition. You dig what I'm saying? When it's truly balanced, it's because the inside is truly what it's supposed to be, which means you got to clean your blood vessels. You got to get the fats and got to get all this other shit out of your body. You feel what I'm saying? But it's so much. The shampoos, the parabens, the sulfates, all of these different things. That's why they're coming out. Because when people start to pay attention to the shit that's fucking them up, they remove it out and they keep the product going. Oh, now with no parabens, sulfates, and all this other shit. No, don't. No, we'll adjust for y'all to stay hooked to us because now you're not gonna think for yourself because you don't have to. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Like for real, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Yeah, go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. Start now. Learn your really learn a pH number. Don't just learn how to balance your pH because you need to know the full process of it. This is why chemistry and shit is important. But understand pH in regards to you having the number. No, do some research to figure out what that number is. You feel me? Ask your gynecologist if they know it. If they don't know it, that's a problem. Because you know it's supposed to be balanced, but what is that exact number that's supposed to be balanced? Because now when you start to see the aromas that come off of it, something's off. You feel me? Your body's giving all kind of indications that something is off. You feel me? Acidic shit smells a certain way. Alkaline shit smells a certain way. It's called aromatic reactions or whatever. Organic chemistry is like it'll give off a scent. You feel me? Because there's a reaction that's occurring that is not happening right. That's not supposed to be there. You dig what I'm saying? So for the little girls, as the mothers, y'all know y'all shit and then start prepare your little girls early. Change their perspectives. Like the shit that you know is making your pH off is automatically making the pH of your family off. So your little girl's pH is gonna be off too for her body. You ain't even gotta be worrying about her vagina right now, but her body is off. If your vagina is off, that means your body is off, which means your family structure is off too. You feel what I'm saying? They need women. They need women, but they need women ignorant to their pH. It's crazy how this one little number, omitting this one little number from the understanding of a woman is what's controlling all of this shit right now. Everything. So go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables and keep that pH right, but know what that pH is supposed to be. And I'm going to see y'all when season 8 come back. I just had to do this impromptu, but I'll see y'all when season 8 come back. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.